What's good, sports fans? Are you ready to elevate your live entertainment experience? Well, let me introduce you to SeatGeek, an amazing platform that connects you to your favorite events while saving you money. With SeatGeek, you can easily find tickets for sports games, concerts, and so much more, all in one place. The interface is user-friendly, making it simple to browse and compare prices. And one of the best features is the interactive seating chart. You can see exactly where you'll be sitting and how much you'll be spending, ensuring you get the best value for your money. But here's the best part. Check this out. By using my promo code, ChalkItUpSports, you can enjoy a one-time $20 discount on your first SeatGeek order. That's right, $20 off your first SeatGeek order. Imagine catching that thrilling game or concert without breaking the bank. It's a win-win situation. Plus, you'll be a part of a community of fans who eat, sleep, and breathe live events just as much as you do. So what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description to download the SeatGeek app today. And don't forget to use my promo code ChalkItUpSports for a one-time $20 discount on your first SeatGeek order. Get excited. Now let's get back to the show. Yeah. What's good? This is your boy Tone DeShields the second. You guys are locked in on your dose of Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. Y'all know the vibes. Y'all know the energy. Y'all know where my body be. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, especially if you're new. Make sure you're here for a long time and not just a good time. The vibes are always immaculate. The vibes are always electric. Make sure you guys are on the right side of history here. We're building something special. We're building something special here at Chalk It Up Sports. I want to make sure all of you guys are along for the ride. This community is growing. This community is growing fast, and you do not want to miss out on the festivities. Again, make sure you guys are active in that live chat. Make yourself known, make yourself seen, make yourself comfortable. Kick your feet up, take your shoes off. Make sure you got your snacks. Maybe some of you guys are getting off work. Some of you guys are probably stuck in traffic right now. That person in front of you, they keep falling asleep at the light. You waiting for them to turn off from you. You waiting for them to get out your way, but they just keep finding ways to get in your way. Every time you switch into a lane, they switch to that lane. Every time you try to get back into your other lane, they follow you back over to the other lane. Tell them to get the hell out your way. I know some of you guys are probably still on the clock. Maybe some of you guys are just going in. Maybe some of you guys are taking a 30-minute or a 15-minute break. Who knows? But I see you. I hear you. And I appreciate y'all, man. Shout out to my blue-collar workers. Shout out to my white-collar workers. Shout out to my gray-collar workers, man. I appreciate all of you guys, okay? So let's get to it. Let's not waste no more time, man. A lot has happened the past couple days, the past 24 to 48 hours. We got to get to it. We're not going to waste any time here. Again, my name is Tone DeShields the second. If you guys are new to the show, lock in with me on Instagram and TikTok at ChalkItUp_sports. Also, make sure you guys check out the content on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And I always appreciate you guys watching the playbacks. So, all right, man. Your Philadelphia Eagles made a couple moves, man. They made a couple moves. They made a few moves, actually, all in succession. Sunday was a busy day for Howie Roseman. And I know a lot of you guys saw the caption, saw the tag for the video saying, are the Eagles trying to hide their mistakes? And what is Howie Roseman thinking right now? Some of you guys say, what mistakes? What are we talking about? Some people say, Tone, what do you mean? What is Howie thinking? I like the moves. I like the moves too. Let me make that very clear. The Eagles haven't made a move so far that I didn't like. As far as from preseason, I'm sorry, from training camp on, right? You know, they traded for Jakorian Bennett. I like that move, right? They traded for John Mechie. I like that move, right? And on Sunday, they traded for left tackle Fred Johnson. Fred Johnson was on the Philadelphia Eagles for 3 seasons before the Philadelphia Eagles decided to move on from him. He became a free agent in 2024, and he ended up getting signed. He ended up getting signed to the Jacksonville Jaguars on a 1-year, $1.3 million deal right after winning the Super Bowl with the Eagles. The Eagles decided, you know what? Hey, Freddie, we need your services. The Eagles sent a 2026 7th-round pick to the Jags for Fred Johnson to come back to Philadelphia. And Jeff Stoutland developed Fred Johnson. Fred Johnson is on record saying before getting to Jeff Stoutland, his career was kind of in limbo. He was hard-headed. He was stubborn. And working with Jeff Stoutland has really taken his game to another level. He's grateful for that, right? And you bring him back to the fold as Mailata's backup. And he did a phenomenal job, by the way. Fred Johnson, that is. Fred Johnson did an amazing job filling in for Jordan Mailata last season. I don't know if you guys remember this, but Jordan Mailata ended up on IR. He missed 5 games due to a hamstring injury. And Fred Johnson filled in for those 5 games, and Fred Johnson played pretty well. He wasn't too much of a liability. You were able to see the strides he made from 2022, his first year with the Eagles, to 2024. You saw Fred Johnson doing a pretty good job. I mean, he did a pretty good job on Trey Hendrickson. Trey Hendrickson is a star edge rusher for the Cincinnati Bengals who's looking for a big payday. He's one of the best edge rushers in football. So Fred Johnson did a pretty good job dealing with him. And the Eagles bringing Fred Johnson back is interesting. It says a couple things, right? It says that they're not too comfortable with where those rookies are, Miles Hinton and Cameron Williams. They're not too inspired, or they're not too confident about where those young tackles are, right? They've been developing those guys, trying to see if they could potentially be the backup to Jordan Mailata. They also brought in a free agent in Kendall Lamb, who's a veteran, who's played a lot of left tackle, a lot of tackle in this game. And they also brought in Matt Pryor, who's played a lot of guard and right tackle, in particular right guard and right tackle in this league as well. But when you think about the Eagles' depth chart at tackle, based off this move, they haven't been too inspired by it, right? Again, Miles Hinton got a lot of penalties in the preseason, very raw, still developing. Cameron Williams got a lot of penalties in the preseason, very raw, still developing. These guys have athletic traits you like, but again, technique and fundamentals and understanding what Jeff Stoutland needs them to do, they're still very raw. So when you think about it from that perspective, it makes a lot of sense for the Philadelphia Eagles to go and get Fred Johnson again. And again, this is why I say, or I ask, are the Eagles trying to make up for some mistakes? Because they had a chance to bring back Fred Johnson. Again, he only signed a 1-year, $1.33 million deal with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Wasn't a lucrative deal at all. And the Eagles said, hey, Freddie J, we know things didn't necessarily go the way we intended, but you mind coming back to the fold? You mind coming back to the party? And the Jacksonville Jaguars said, hey, you can have him. Just give us a 7th-round pick. Howie said, okay. And look, this isn't an indictment on anybody. I want to make that very clear. This isn't an indictment on Howie Roseman. It's not. It's fascinating because this is why you have extra draft picks. This is why you make sure you're always in a position of flexibility and adaptability, right? The Eagles have so many draft picks, they can afford to make mistakes. That's what makes it so fascinating. They have the draft capital, especially on day 3. They have the day 3 draft capital to be able to cover up for any blemishes they may have not foresaw. Look, they were betting on young guys in the draft. They were betting on some of the free agents they signed in Kendall Lamb and so on and so forth, right? They were betting on that. So far, Kendall Lamb, Miles Hinton, Cameron Williams, they clearly feel that the left tackle depth hasn't been inspiring. So you go get Fred Johnson back, someone you've developed, somebody who's proven to be able to take over those key snaps if need be. So I'm not mad at the move at all. I give I give Howie Roseman all the respect, all the kudos in the world, right? Like I said, the excess of draft picks has afforded Howie Roseman the ability to make mistakes and correct them rather quickly. Another case in point, the Eagles decided to trade for quarterback Sam Howell and a 2026 6th-round pick. They sent a 2026 5th-round pick and a 2027 7th-round pick to the Vikings. So the Vikings receive a 2026 5th and a 2027 7th, and the Eagles receive quarterback Sam Howell and a 2026 6th-round draft pick. I like that move as well. I like that move as well for the simple fact that, let's be honest about this. After Tanner McKee, that quarterback competition was putrid. You drafted Kyle McCord out of Syracuse. You had to cut him. He didn't really show too much in preseason games, right? Or nor in training camp. Dorian Thompson-Robinson, you traded for him. You sent him to the you sent Kenny Pickett to the Browns, and you got DTR in return. Kenny Pickett is better than DTR. Let's just call it what it is. And both DTR and Kyle McCord did not have inspiring games in the preseason or an inspiring training camp. So you got Jalen Hurts at quarterback, and you got Tanner McKee, who's already dealing with a finger fracture. So you got to make sure, God forbid, if it ever came down to it, you're going to have a reliable quarterback 3. You're not going to go into the season with your starting quarterback and Jalen Hurts healthy, your backup quarterback and Tanner McKee dealing with a finger injury, and then a rookie backing him up in Kyle McCord, or an uninspiring backup in Dorian Thompson-Robinson. You're not going to go into the season with that. If Jalen Hurts goes down in week 1, you're not going to put a rookie in there in Kyle McCord, and you're not going to put DTR in there. Those guys have shown you nothing to be inspired about. So you trade for Sam Howell. Sam Howell has started a lot of games in his league. As a matter of fact, Sam Howell, in 2022, he was a rookie, only played and started in 1 game. But in 2023, he started in 17 games, played in 17 games, started a whole season for the Commanders. In 2022, he had 612 pass attempts, 388 completions, completed 63% of his passes, threw for almost 4,000 yards, 21 passing touchdowns, had 21 interceptions, though. But again, as your third-string quarterback, a guy who has starting experience, a guy who's been a high-volume thrower for his career with the Commanders, you take a shot on that. I'd rather roll the dice on Sam Howell than roll the dice on DTR or roll the dice on Kyle McCord as my quarterback 3. I'm not doing that. So going into week 1, Sam Howell be your quarterback 2, Jalen Hurts your quarterback 1. I can live with those results. I've seen Sam Howell throw at a high volume. I've seen Sam Howell be highly competitive in football games. 2024, he spent it with Seattle, only played in 2 games. And I think he was signed by the Minnesota Vikings in the offseason, but ultimately didn't end up playing a snap for them. I think he played in the preseason for them. Let me double check this real quick. Sam Howell says here, he had spent 2024 in Seattle, and I guess he got picked up by the Vikings, and then he ultimately got traded to the Eagles. So the Eagles got him on 1 year right now. He'll be an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year. All right. So again, that move made sense. I'm totally on board with that. Your quarterback 3 competition hasn't been inspiring at all, right? And then the Eagles did another trade. This is another move I like. The Eagles traded offensive tackle or offensive lineman, excuse me. They traded the offensive lineman, Darian Kennard, somebody they've been developing. They traded Darian Kennard to the Packers, and the Eagles got a 2027 6th-round pick in return. So that tells me the Eagles had clear intentions of cutting Darian Kennard, but they've been developing him. He's put up some okay tape, okay enough to the point where you can get some kind of value back. They basically said, you know what? We'd rather get something for him than nothing. We put some time and effort into him. Let's try to get something back. They got a 7th-round pick back they got a 6th-round pick back for the 2027 NFL draft. I'm not mad at it. So the Eagles made 3 trades. 2 of them, they got a player back and a draft pick, and 1 of them, they got a draft pick back. So keep in mind, they sent a 2027, they sent the 2027 7th round pick to the Vikings. They got a 2027 6th round pick back for Darian Kennard. So I love what Howie Roseman has been doing thus far. This has been his 4th trade in the past 8 days. In the past 8 days, he's traded for left tackle Fred Johnson. He's traded for quarterback Sam Howell. He's traded for a 2027 6th round draft pick, sending Darian Kennard to the Packers. And he traded for a wide receiver in John Mechie. So the Eagles have gotten back 3 players, and they've gotten back 1, 2, 3 draft picks. 2 for the 2026 draft, and 1 for the let's make sure I got this right here. Yeah, 2 for the 2026 draft, and they got 1 back, and they got 2 back for the 2020, and the 1 back for the 2027 draft. So you send picks out, you get picks back. You get picks back. You send picks out, you send players out, you get some players back. Now, these moves, and again, this goes back to the title, right? Are the Eagles trying to hide some mistakes here? These moves that they've made have partly been pro-actionary, and I'm not even sure if pro-actionary is a word. I don't really think that's a word at all, but we're going to use it as a word today. I'm coining that word, pro-actionary. Part of these moves, in my opinion, have been pro-actionary. Some of them have been reactionary, right? I would argue only one move has kind of felt pro-actionary to me. And that was the John Mechie trade, right? You traded for John Mechie at wide receiver. At that point in time, we were all high on Johnny Wilson, Darius Cooper, and Anaya Smith, right? We were high on those guys as your wide receivers 4 through 6. But then Johnny Wilson gets hurt right after that trade happens. Hence why I say pro-actionary. Because Howie Roseman is looking like a fortune teller. He's looking like a genius. You trade for John Mechie one day. A couple days later, Johnny Wilson gets hurt with a season-ending injury. Now it has to get season-ending surgery. So now wide receiver 4, 5, and 6 is looking like Darius Cooper, John Mechie, and Anaya Smith in no particular order right now. That move was looking like a pro-actionary move to me. As far as reactionary goes, I would say getting Fred Johnson back here is reactionary. You made your move. You decided that left tackle isn't quite where we wanted to be at. React. Go get Fred Johnson back. The Jakorian Bennett move, right? Like I said, the Eagles have made 4 total trades in the past 8 days. They've made 5 total trades in the month of August. The Jakorian Bennett trade, reactionary. The cornerback 2 competition hasn't been inspiring. You want to get ahead of it? You go get Jakorian Bennett. You were betting on Keely Ringo. You were betting on the Dory Jackson you brought in as a free agent. They're not looking as good as you thought. You go get Jakorian Bennett. You reacted. Right? Moving on from Darian Kennard, I probably wouldn't even call that reactionary at all. Probably couldn't even call it pro-actionary. Maybe. You moved on from a player, you got to pick back. You didn't want to lose him for nothing. So I'm not mad about that, right? I just looked at it. I look at that as moving on from a guy you were going to cut anyway. And you got something back for him. Simple as that. So again, all right. Let's see where we are. I appreciate the super chats, by the way, you guys. Thanks for locking in with the boy. Let me read the super chats real quick. Miss Fanny back again with the super chat. She says, "Hey, Tone and chat. I'm just glad we got our swing tackle back. This is just how we roll, how we just doing how we things. Get used to it." You already know, sis. Jerry Potter, what's going on? He says, "Howie always has the Eagles' best interest. Elite cap mathematician, stockpiling draft picks. Eagles' golden era is here. Go Birds." Yeah, Howie Roseman just always stays ahead of the game. He's always ahead of the curve, always ahead of the game. And again, when you have as much draft capital as he has, it affords you the opportunity or at least the levity to make mistakes. and correct them rather quickly. So again, are they trying to make up for a couple mistakes they made? Sure, right? But then that begs the question, what's really a mistake? Right? I don't think they regret the decision they made. I think they made the decision, and then the decision hasn't been panning out the way they thought. And they said, okay, let's fix it. And that's what happens when you got the right people in the building, you got enough draft capital, and you make decisions for the now and the future. You're always going to be able to pivot. You're always going to be able to read and react. So I don't think Howie Roseman has done anything wrong thus far. Some people still believe that he needs to find a way to get Isaiah Rodgers back in the building. I don't know how likely that is. But again, man, 5 total trades in the month of August, 4 total trades in the past 8 days, and 3 trades in one afternoon. So Howie Roseman is definitely keeping his ear close to the phone. It's funny because I'm looking at some of the guys they've cut thus far. Let's see if we can bring this on screen for you guys. So as of right now, the Eagles have parted ways with several players. The Eagles have parted ways with quarterback Dorian Thompson-Robinson, quarterback Kyle McCord, running backs Keelan Robinson and Montrell Johnson Jr. and Shunderick Powell. They parted ways with wide receivers Terrace Marshall Jr. and Elijah Cooks. They've decided to cut tight ends Nick Muse and E.J. Jenkins. They've also cut offensive lineman Quinyon Green. And that move is looking funny to me because you got him back in that CJ-GJ trade with the Houston Texans, and you ended up cutting Quinyon Green. He didn't even play for you. He barely was on the field because he was dealing with some kind of injury. So you basically got a draft pick back for the CJ Gardner-Johnson trade. That move was looking like a one-sided trade. But again, with the Philadelphia Eagles, I mean, they don't think about it from the perspective of, oh, we lost that trade. I don't think the Eagles regret moving on from CJ-GJ. This just goes to show you that the CJ-GJ trade had nothing to do with money, had nothing to do with trying to get something back for him. It had everything to do with stuff that was going on behind the scenes or off the field. The Eagles didn't even really try to get anything back for him. They just said, you know what, Houston, just give us an offensive lineman, and we know we can develop those kind of guys. Give us an offensive lineman in the draft pick, and you can have CJ. Simple as that. It tells you right away that moving on from CJ had nothing to do with getting something back, had nothing to do with the contract. It was strictly chemistry or morale or off the field or behind the scenes issue, however you want to slice it. They also moved on from defensive backs Lewis Seen, Maxon Hook, and Andre Sam, and they also moved on from cornerback Eli Ricks. So the Eagles have been making a lot of cuts lately. Again, they've cut quarterbacks Dorian Thompson-Robinson, Kyle McCord, running backs Keelan Robinson, Montrell Johnson Jr., and Shunderick Powell. They've cut wide receivers Terrace Marshall Jr. and Elijah Cooks, tight ends Nick Muse and E.J. Jenkins, offensive guard Quinyon Green, safeties Lewis Seen, Maxon Hook, and Andre Sam, and they've cut cornerback Eli Ricks. All right. Let's keep the ball rolling here. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. I appreciate the love and I appreciate the support. You guys have been phenomenal thus far. Let's keep the vibes high. We got another super chat here from my man Shep with the $10. Thank you, man. I appreciate the support. He said, Shalom, Tone. We'll be fine. I do believe, like everyone else, Howie is going to make a bigger move to get us back to the bowl. Go Birds. Yeah, a lot of people feel like Howie is gearing up for a big move. I don't know. I don't know if he's necessarily gearing up for a big move. We're seeing a lot of cuts. So far, if I look at my final 53-man roster prediction, so far I've been wrong about one player. I thought they would keep Darian Kennard. Darian Kennard was traded to the Green Bay Packers. So as of right now, As of right now, my cuts or my final roster prediction is a little off here. They did not keep Darian Kennard. All right. I'm trying to think what else. I had them cutting Eli Ricks, so I'm good on that regard. I had them cutting DTR and Jakorian Bennett, so I'm still good in that. I had them cutting Andre Sam and Max and Hook and all those other safeties and Lewis Seen. I'm still good at safety. I'm still good at corner. I'm still good at linebacker. I'm still good on the edge. I'm still good at D tackle. Offensive line, I'm off. So they traded Darian Kennard to the Green Bay Packers. I'm still good at tight end. I'm still good at receiver. And I'm still good at fullback and running back and quarterback. All right. Let me get some of y'all chats here. All right. Alex, or Sweet Chin Music, excuse me. Sweet Chin says, I'm not expecting a big move. Yeah, I'm not expecting a big one either. I'm not expecting a big one. I feel like a lot of these moves are kind of, filling the gap, tweak a little tweak here, a little tweak there. I don't think these moves, I don't think the Eagles are gearing up for some major splash move. I just don't. Jerry Potter says, I really hope Jakorian Bennett is starting at CB2 against the Cowboys. Hey, man, we definitely going to see. We're definitely going to see. I think this week is going to tell us a lot. It's going to tell us a lot. And again, just a heads up, you guys. Tanner McKee likely won't be active for week 1. So that means Sam Howell is going to be quarterback 2. Lord Vaughn says, you said you had them cutting Bennett. No, I don't. I don't have that. I don't have them cutting Bennett at all. I said I had them cutting Eli Ricks. Joel Perez says, why did we not draft DN for Dill Diggs instead of APR? I'm not sure, bro. I'm not sure. All right. Let's see. LD2 Ballin says, I don't see a big move happening. It's a week before opening day. Hard to see a team trading a major piece now. Yeah, I agree. Fandy says, well, who's our emergency quarterback? Well, don't be surprised if they pick somebody up after waivers. But, and again, we'll see if Tanner McKee is active for week 1. We'll see. He may not. I heard it's a finger fracture. He doesn't need surgery. We'll see. Alex says, I was seeing Jalen Phillips and Trevon Walker as potential edge moves for Philly. It's possible. Private McClunky says, I ain't know they released Marshall and Cooks. I mean, yeah, they didn't really do much. Elijah Cooks, I had high hopes for him, but he was hurt for the first 2 preseason games. And in the second one, he really didn't get much action. So, he did good in training camp. He was making plays, but he got hurt. He hurt his shoulder, and it left a lot of space for guys like Darius Cooper to show up. It left space for Anias Smith to turn up. It left space for Johnny Wilson, but then he gets hurt. It even left space for John Mechie. Jerry Potter says, any news on Landon Dickerson playing next Thursday? No, I haven't gotten any updates about that. I haven't gotten any updates on that at all. All right. Let's see here. All right. Yeah, no updates as of late. But I do have one thing I would love to share with you guys. Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts has been named to the NFL Top 100. Specifically, Jalen Hurts has been ranked 19th. Jalen Hurts has been ranked 19th on the NFL Top 100. So shout out to Jalen Hurts, man. That's a pretty good spot, man. That's a pretty good spot. I'm not mad at that at all. Jalen Hurts, say what you want about him. You can't beat him. Say what you want about him. You can't beat him. They want to complain about the players he plays with. They want to complain about his playing style. They want to complain that he doesn't throw for enough yards and so on and so forth. Beat him. Beat him. It's just that simple. You can't beat him. So you whine about him. Shout out to Jalen Hurts, man, for being named to the NFL Top 100, specifically number 19. Jalen Hurts had a phenomenal season last year, especially a phenomenal playoff run. I mean, Jalen Hurts, Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP. What more can you ask for from the kid? What more can you ask for? You know, and just for the record, Jalen Hurts is a two-time Pro Bowler, a former All-Pro, second team to be specific, 2022 Burt Bell Award winner, again, Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP. You know, it's well-deserved. He's a technician. He's a cerebral player. He gets his guys going. People like to say Jalen Hurts is holding back his offense. A.J. Brown has had career years in receiving yards. Devontae Smith has had career years in receiving yards and touchdowns with Jalen Hurts. How is he holding back these receivers? I don't understand. You know, Jalen Hurts is 46-20 as a starter in the NFL. He's 6-3 in the playoffs. Just saying, man. It is what it is. Shout out to the kid. Shout out to Jalen Hurts, man. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. And I think, Alex said he was 15th last year. Yeah, you know, shit, top 20. You know what I mean? And about nothing. It's so funny how a lot of those knuckleheads on WIP tried to say, I don't see how Jalen Hurts makes the top 100. You know, I don't get it. You know, there's so many players they haven't named yet. How is Jalen Hurts make the top 100? Yeah, okay. The players know what's up. Beat them. It's just that simple. Beat them. And then talk to me. If you can't beat them, don't talk to them. All right. We're going to be live for maybe another 10 to 15 minutes or so. All right. Let's see. You guys have been phenomenal thus far. Thank you for the donations. Thank you for the super chats. And thank you for just commenting below. You guys have been great. All right, let's see here. But yeah, man, I'm looking at the Eagles. I'm looking at my 53-man roster prediction, and you know, I'm telling you, you know, as far as corners go, they're going to keep obviously Quinyon and Coop, right? They're going to keep Jakorian Bennett. They're going to keep Adoree Jackson. They're going to keep Keely Ringo. That's just how I see it. They're going to keep Matt McWilliams. They're going to keep Reed Blankenship, Sidney Brown, Andrew McCool, but I think they keep Tristan McCullum as well. Right? I think they're going to keep all four of their linebackers, Zack Baun, Jihaad Campbell, Trotter Jr., and Smile Mondon. I got them keeping them as well. On the edge, I got them keeping Nolan Smith, Jalix Hunt, Josh Uche, Aziz Ojulari, and Patrick Johnson. I think they end up cutting APR and they try to get him through the practice squad. All right. I got him keeping Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Moro Jomo, Ty Robinson, Gabe Hall, and Byron Young at D tackle. On the offensive line, I have them keeping Lane Johnson, Tyler Steen, Cam Jurgens, Landon Dickerson, Jordan Mailata, Kendall Lamb, Drew Kendall, Matt Pryor, Brett Toth. I had Darren Kennard here, but he got traded, so you know that counts against me. And I didn't expect them to trade for Fred Johnson, so obviously Fred Johnson is going to make the 53-man roster. At tight end, I got them keeping Dallas Goedert and Greg Cacatera. Wide receiver, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jahan Dotson, John Mechie III, Darius Cooper, and Anaya Smith. At fullback, Ben Van Sumeren. Running back, Saquon Barkley, A.J. Dillon, and Will Shipley. And quarterback, Jalen Hurts, Tanner McKee, Sam Howell. Okay. Let's see what else is going around the NFL here. Oh, yeah, by the way, they decided to pay Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin just signed a big deal. All right. Terry McLaurin agrees to a 3-year extension worth up to $96 million with the Washington Commanders. All right. This is a big move for Washington. This is a big move because they were going through a contract dispute with Scary Terry all offseason. And it seemed like things weren't looking up, but they ultimately found a deal. 3 years worth up to $96 million. Let's see if we can get some more details on it. All right. Says here, his extension also includes a $30 million signing bonus. Here's my problem, right, with some of these teams. Here's my problem, you guys. They already know they're going to sign these players. This is my problem with the Cowboys. This is my problem. This is my problem with the Commanders and teams like this. This is my problem with the Bengals. This is my problem with incompetent organizations. So on average, Scary Terry is making $32 million a season over the next 3 years. He has a $30 million signing bonus. So I don't know how much of the total contract is guaranteed. Let me see if I can find out here. I'm not sure how much of the total contract is guaranteed. The total guarantees haven't been released yet, but he does have a $30 million signing bonus, an average salary of $32 million. So he's getting AJ Brown money, right? And Terry McLaurin is a phenomenal player. I'm not even going to talk about his talent right now. His talent is undisputed. He's one of the best receivers in football. He's one of the most reliable receivers in football. One of the most durable receivers in football. You know you're going to pay the player. So why even play hardball? Why? Or why not get the contract out of the way early? These incompetent organizations, they cannot help themselves. They probably could have got Terry for $30 million if they would have got the contract done last offseason. If they would have got the contract done last offseason when guys like AJ Brown got paid, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, I think Tyreek Hill got re-upped as well. Michael Pittman got paid. Calvin Ridley got paid. CeeDee Lamb got paid, right? CeeDee Lamb should have been got his money, but they waited to the end of the offseason and paid him. I think right now, CeeDee Lamb is making, I don't know, $34 million a year. Let me see if I got this right here. So CeeDee Lamb is making $34 million a year. DK Metcalf making $33. Garrett Wilson making $32.5. AJ Brown and Scary Terry making $32. Amon-Ra making $30. Brandon Ayuk making $30. Tyreek Hill making $30. T. Higgins making $28.7. Jalen Waddle making $28.2. DJ Moore making $27.5. Devontae making $25. Nico Collins $24.2. Michael Pittman $23.3. Calvin Ridley $23. You know, like, it's weird to me. When you wait long to pay guys, the price is only going up. You're bidding against when you have a player of Scary Terry's magnitude on your roster already, you're bidding against yourself. Just pay the man. Pay him the market rate. That's why I will never take the Commanders serious. I don't care who their GM is or who new ownership is. I won't take them serious. Not yet. I know they got the quarterback right. Kudos. But I can't take their organization serious yet. They still need to build up a few seasons of equity when it comes to good deal making and getting ahead of things. They have one of the oldest teams in football right now. Can't take them serious just yet. The Cowboys, I'm not going to take them serious for a long time. They wait until the final hour to pay guys still, and they know they're going to pay them. I wouldn't be surprised if they pay Micah tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised. And all they keep doing is just pricing themselves out of the player. They better pay him before Trey Hendrickson gets paid. And I'm not even sure if the Bengals are going to pay Trey Hendrickson. I'm not sure. Two incompetent organizations in Cincinnati and Dallas. They got two edge rushers that are two of the best in the game, two of the most productive, and they think that they can do better without them, or they think that they're not worth the payday. Make it make sense in my eyes. They cannot. They cannot. This is why Howie Roseman, Trey got paid. Really? How much? How much? Let me check. Let me check it out. Trey got paid. Okay. So they revised his contract. So they reworked this deal. Okay. Wow. Let's read this. They reworked the deal, y'all. Thank you for the update, you guys. All right. Let's find out what we're working with here. So it says Bengals defensive end Trey Hendrickson to earn $30 million during his 2025 season on a reworked contract. Let's see what we got here. So Trey Hendrickson's prolonged contract dispute with the Bengals has finally been resolved. Hendrickson and the Bengals have agreed to a reworked contract that will provide him with a $14 million raise, bringing his 2025 salary to $30 million. NFL Network insiders Ian Rappaport and Tom Pelissero reported on Monday. The team later announced it's officially agreed to an adjusted deal with the Pro Bowl pass rusher. The agreement expires after 2025, meaning Hendrickson will have a chance to become a free agent and cash in on the open market, especially if he produces at a rate similar to the 35 combined sacks he's tallied over the last two campaigns, unless Cincinnati opts to use its franchise tag on Hendrickson next offseason. Hendrickson battled with the Bengals over his contract for the entire 2025 offseason, speaking openly of the frustration he experienced while struggling to come to terms with the team he joined as a free agent in 2021. The stalemate included two separate periods in which Hendrickson and/or the Bengals explored trade possibilities, dragged into training camp and saw Hendrickson stage both a holdout and a hold-in. While his representation worked toward a deal, parties finally reached a conclusion on Monday. What does this mean for Hendrickson's future in Cincinnati? The Bengals' failure to reach the playoffs last season was accurately pinned on their defense, a porous unit, even with Hendrickson's league best 17.5 sacks included in the equation. They couldn't embark on the 2025 season in good conscience without finding a way to bring Hendrickson back into the fold. And while Bengals fans will sleep peacefully knowing their team finally has their quarterback hunting machine back on the field, it might be nothing more than a swan song for their partnership. So they got the deal done. They gave him a $14 million raise, and he's going to make about $30 million this year. He's still underpaid, if you ask me. He's still grossly underpaid. But they gave him $14 million more, and he has an opportunity to hit the open market next year. So basically, Cincinnati is saying, look, we'll give you more money, but we're not paying you $40 million. As a matter of fact, we'll rework your current contract, give you more guaranteed dollars, and then next offseason, if you want to hit the open market and cash in, go do that. But we're not going to be the ones to pay you $40 million. Listen, I give Cincinnati credit for finding a common ground with the player, because let's be honest about this. Here's where I probably understand Cincinnati's concerns. Trey Hendrickson is currently 30 years old. He's 30 years old. He'll be 31. He'll be 31 December 5th. So he'll be 31 when he hits free agency. Cincinnati is saying, how can I pay a 30-year-old edge rusher $40+ million over the next 3 seasons or whatever it may be? How can I pay him $40 million on salary? He's 30 going on 31. He's bound to come down to earth at some point. I don't want to overpay, and I'm not getting that same production. I understood the Bengals' concerns, but you need the player. Your defense was awful last year. As a matter of fact, they're probably saying we were awful with them. But I don't think you were awful because of Trey Hendrickson. I think he was the highlight of your defense. So I feel like having Trey Hendrickson on your roster in 2025 definitely helps the Bengals. But also, they said to themselves, we'll give you more money, but it can't be $40 million. and he's not tied up long-term with the bad deal. He gets more money for this season to make him a little bit more comfortable, and he gets to hit the open market in 2025 or 2026. So I think both parties kind of win in this situation. I know Trey Hendrickson probably wanted more. As a matter of fact, if I had to make an argument, I would probably say the Bengals won because Trey Hendrickson still doesn't get his long-term payday. He's still underpaid, and the Bengals still get his services for the 2025 season. I think if I had to argue, the Bengals won this. They won this. Now, the Micah Parsons situation, it's a little different. Micah's young. Micah's what, 24, 25? Micah Parsons is 26. Excuse me. Micah Parsons is 26, four-time Pro Bowler, two-time first-team All-Pro, former Defensive Rookie of the Year, coming off of a 12-sack season. Micah Parsons has been phenomenal for the Cowboys. He's been phenomenal for the Cowboys. So his situation is different. Micah Parsons can definitely command $40+ million, especially with the youth being on his side, the production being on his side. The Cowboys are backed into a corner. Pay the man. You know you need him. Your defense is going to be awful without him. And y'all better pay him before week one. Because if y'all ain't got him paid by week one, we spank the Eagles spanking that ass. It's just that simple. We got a super chat here from Ross and Found. He says, dumb deal, and he walks next year. Listen. I mean, dumb for who? Is it dumb for the Bengals or dumb for Trey? Because Trey is 30 going on 31. Yes, he came off a 17 and a half. Yes, he came off of a 17 and a half sack season, but he'll be 31 when he hits free agency. And the Bengals are probably saying, look, you were productive, but you'll be 31. How can I pay you $40+ million? So the Bengals got him locked in for this season. They gave him some more money. He got a $14 million raise, $30 million for this season. They got away with underpaying him still. And he's going to suit up. He's going to suit up. And again, your defense was awful with him. So they're probably saying, look, why would I lock up all this money in one player and we were bad with him? We need flexibility. We got a young guy we're developing in Shamar Stewart. Maybe they feel like as long as we get through the season with him, let him walk after that. I think Trey Hendrickson loses in this. I feel like he lost the standoff. He lost the standoff, if you ask me. S. Blunt, he says, I'm surprised about no Blankenship deal. That's a good question. Am I surprised about that? Let me think about that. Am I surprised about Reed Blankenship not getting paid yet? I don't know. Not really. I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles decided to pay him mid-season. All right. We got 200 people on the live stream. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. I really do appreciate the support. That like button is currency in this YouTube space, you guys. That like button is magic. It helps the channel grow, helps new people find the channel. So make sure you guys smash that like button. We got 200 people here. We only got 86 likes. The math not mathing, y'all. We got 200 people in the stream, and we only got 86 likes. So make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, especially if you're new. Make sure you guys are here for a long time and not just a good time, okay? Some of you guys may be driving home from work. Some of you guys may be going in for your night shift. Maybe some of you guys are just sitting in your car in the parking lot. You know what I mean? I appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys stay active in the live chat. Again, over 190 people here. We only got 95 likes. I need you guys to step your weight up, man. I need you to step your weight up. I appreciate that love. I really do. All right. Let's see if there's anything else I want to tap into before we get out of here. All right. Let's revisit some things real quick. Like I said, the Philadelphia Eagles decided to bring back Fred Johnson via trade. The Eagles sent a 2026 7th-round pick to the Jaguars and got offensive tackle Fred Johnson back. He's going to be their swing tackle. He filled in a lot for Jordan Mailata last year. The Eagles also traded for quarterback Sam Howell and a 2026 sixth-round pick, sending a 2026 fifth and a 2027 seventh-round pick to the Vikings. The Eagles received the 2027 sixth-round pick from the Packers and sent over offensive tackle Darian Kennard. So the Eagles made a few trades yesterday over the past 24 hours, and I'm not mad at the moves at all. The Eagles got back Fred Johnson, a reliable swing tackle. They got back a quarterback in Sam Howell and the draft pick, especially with Tanner McKee dealing with that finger fracture. You got to make sure your quarterback 3 position is set. They also got a pick back from the Packers, sending Darian Kennard over there. So you basically traded a player that you were going to cut anyway and got something back for him. And as a reminder, the Eagles traded for John Mechie. They've made 4 total trades in the past 8 days, 3 trades in the past 24 hours, and they made 5 trades total in the month of August. So Howie Roseman has been active. The Eagles have decided to cut and move on from quarterback Dorian Thompson-Robinson. The Eagles have also decided to move on from quarterback Kyle McCord. They've also cut running backs Keelan Robinson, Montrell. Where is it? Sorry about that, you guys. So the Eagles cut quarterbacks Dorian Thompson-Robinson and Kyle McCord. They've cut running backs Keelan Robinson, Montrell Johnson Jr., and Shonderick Powell. They've also cut wide receivers Terrace Marshall Jr. and Elijah Cooks. They've cut tight ends Nick Muse and E.J. Jenkins. And they've cut offensive lineman Kenyon Green. They've also moved on from defensive backs Lewis Seen, Maxon Hook, Andre Sam, and Eli Ricks. So the Eagles have made a lot of cuts. A lot of these cuts were to be expected. And they brought in some reinforcements via trade at quarterback and Sam Howell, left tackle and Fred Johnson, wide receiver John Mechie, and cornerback Jakorian Bennett. So Howie Roseman, again, he's been super active. The Johnson lifestyle says, Tone, the other day you couldn't understand about Donson and Tanner. We are quarterback factory, Tone, and Jihaad is on a 1-year deal. Why not get a depth player on an expiring deal instead? That's counterproductive to me. Why would I trade away my third best wide receiver, knowing that A.J. Brown and Smitty have been dealing with nagging injuries throughout training camp in the preseason? That's counterproductive to me as it pertains to Jahan Dotson. Jahan Dotson, yes, he's on an expiring deal, but trading him for what? Another player on an expiring deal? Why would I move him from a guy that I've been developing in this offense, in this scheme, and building chemistry with Jalen Hurts? Why would I offset that? Remember, when we traded for Jahan Dotson last season, training camp was over. It was about a week before the season started. So he really didn't get a training camp with Jalen Hurts. This is his first training camp with Jalen Hurts, and now you want to trade him? Doesn't make any sense to me. You definitely can't trade him now, especially with Johnny Wilson going down. So as of right now, in my humble opinion, your wide receiver room is going to be A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jahan Dotson, John Mechie, Darius Cooper, and Anaya Smith. Simple as that. All right. Fanny and Mimi believe they should have kept Ricks over Ringo. Ricks doesn't have the same special teams capabilities as Ringo. So I think that's why Ricks got cut versus Ringo. Ringo is way better on special teams than Ricks is. All right. But look, you guys, we're about to close out the show. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support. You guys have been truly great to the channel. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the donations. You guys have been great. All right. And on top of that, make sure you guys smash that like button and make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Again, the channel doesn't grow without the people. The channel doesn't grow without you guys investing and, being active in the live chat, being active in the comment section, being overall, just being active in the entire stream. So you guys have been great. Thank you for supporting the channel. As always, smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed and here for a long time and not just a good time. And that's our show. I've been your humble host, Tone DeShields II. And we got a lot of stuff coming up, you guys, by the way. Again, we're about a week and some change away from the season opener. I don't think Howie Roseman is done. I'm really curious to see how this initial 53-man roster looks after the cuts are done. And we'll see. You guys have been tuned in to Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game.